There's a window that opens every single night, a portal between your conscious and subconscious mind, a moment of extraordinary power that most people completely waste. They use it to scroll through social media, to watch mindless entertainment, to replay the day's frustrations, to worry about tomorrow's problems. And in doing so, they program their subconscious mind with garbage. They set themselves up for failure while they sleep. They sabotage their own potential without even realizing it. But there's another way, a way that the most successful people in history have understood and used, a way that Brian Tracy has taught for decades, transforming thousands of lives. It's a simple practice that takes less than 5 minutes before you close your eyes each night. But those 5 minutes, used correctly, can reshape your entire life. They can reprogram your subconscious mind. They can turn your sleeping hours into a laboratory for success. They can make you wake up different than when you went to sleep. Here's what you need to understand first. Your subconscious mind never sleeps. While your conscious mind shuts down for the night, while your body rests and recovers, your subconscious mind is working. It's processing, it's problem solving, it's creating connections. It's literally rewiring your neural pathways based on whatever you gave it to work with before you fell asleep. And this is the key that most people miss. Whatever is in your mind in those final moments before sleep becomes the material your subconscious works with for the next 6 to 8 hours. Think about what that means. If you fall asleep scrolling through social media, watching the news, or replaying negative interactions from your day, you're giving your subconscious mind negativity, comparison, fear, and frustration to process all night. You're essentially telling your subconscious, here, work on making me more anxious, more dissatisfied, more fearful. And your subconscious mind, which doesn't judge or filter, simply does what it's told. It takes that input and reinforces it. It creates more neural pathways around those negative patterns. It makes you more of what you were thinking about. But if you deliberately, intentionally program your subconscious mind before sleep with specific thoughts, specific goals, specific visions of who you want to become, something extraordinary happens. Your subconscious mind takes those inputs and works on them all night. It searches for solutions. It makes connections. It processes possibilities. It literally begins to rewire your brain in the direction of your goals. You go to sleep as one person and wake up slightly different, slightly more aligned with the person you want to become. This isn't mystical. This isn't wishful thinking. This is neuroscience. Your brain is incredibly malleable, especially during sleep. During the different sleep cycles, particularly REM sleep, your brain is consolidating memories, processing emotions, and forming new neural connections. If you give it specific material to work with before sleep, it will prioritize processing that material. If you give it nothing, or worse, negative material, it will process whatever random thoughts and anxieties were floating through your mind. Brian Tracy identified 5 specific things you should tell your mind every single night before sleeping. Not think about casually, not hope for vaguely. Tell your mind with intention, with clarity, with conviction. These 5 things, repeated every night, will reprogram your subconscious mind and transform your life. But here's the catch, you have to actually do it every night, without exception. Most people will hear this, think it sounds interesting, maybe try it once or twice, and then forget about it. And they'll continue to wonder why their life doesn't change. The first thing you must tell your mind before sleeping is this: I am grateful for, and then list specific things from your day. Not vague gratitude, not generic thankfulness. Specific moments, specific people, specific experiences that you're genuinely grateful for. Maybe it's a conversation that went well. Maybe it's progress you made on a project. Maybe it's a moment of peace you experienced. Maybe it's simply that you have a bed to sleep in and a roof over your head. Why does this matter? Because gratitude is the fastest way to shift your brain from a state of lack to a state of abundance. When you're focused on what you don't have, what went wrong, what's missing, your brain is in scarcity mode. It's defensive, it's contracted, it's focused on survival. But when you deliberately focus on what you do have, what went right, what you're thankful for, your brain shifts into expansion mode. It opens up, it becomes creative, it starts looking for opportunities instead of threats. And here's what's crucial: the state you're in when you fall asleep is the state your subconscious mind works from all night. If you fall asleep in scarcity mode, worried, and anxious, your subconscious mind spends the night reinforcing those neural pathways. But if you fall asleep in gratitude, in abundance, your subconscious mind spends the night building new pathways around possibility and opportunity. You literally wake up with a different brain than the one you went to sleep with. The second thing you must tell your mind is this: today I accomplished, and list everything you did, no matter how small. Most people end their day focusing on what they didn't get done, all the items still on the to do list, all the things they meant to do but didn't, all the ways they fell short, and they carry that sense of failure into sleep. They program their subconscious with the message: I'm not enough, I don't do enough, I'm always behind. But when you deliberately focus on what you did accomplish, even small things, you're programming a different message. You're telling your subconscious, I am someone who gets things done. I am someone who makes progress. I am someone who follows through. And your subconscious mind believes whatever you tell it consistently. It doesn't judge whether your accomplishments were big or small. It just registers the pattern. This person accomplishes things, and it begins to reinforce that identity. This seems simple, almost trivial, but the compound effect of this practice over weeks and months is extraordinary. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to identify as someone who executes, who makes progress, who moves forward. And once that identity shifts, your behavior automatically aligns with it. You start accomplishing more because you believe you're the kind of person who accomplishes things. The third thing, and this is where it gets powerful, you must tell your mind, tomorrow I will, and state specific intentions for the next day. Not vague hopes, not general goals, specific actions you will take. Tomorrow I will work out at 6 a.m. Tomorrow I will work on my most important project for 2 uninterrupted hours. Tomorrow I will have a meaningful conversation with my partner. Tomorrow I will make progress on X. This does something remarkable. It primes your subconscious mind to prepare for these actions. While you sleep, your brain is already beginning to figure out how you'll accomplish these things. It's solving problems in advance. It's removing mental obstacles. It's creating motivation. So when tomorrow actually arrives, you don't have to generate willpower from scratch. Your subconscious mind has already prepared the ground. The action feels easier, more natural, more inevitable. Athletes have known this for decades. They visualize their performance before they sleep. They mentally rehearse every move, every play, every response. And study after study has shown that mental rehearsal activates the same neural pathways as physical practice. Your brain doesn't distinguish much between vividly imagining doing something and actually doing it. So when you tell your mind what you'll do tomorrow, when you see it clearly, when you feel it as already done, you're essentially pre-living that success. And when tomorrow comes, you're just following a script your brain has already written. The fourth thing you must tell your mind is this: I am becoming, and describe the person you're transforming into. Not who you want to be someday, not some distant ideal. Who you are becoming right now, today, through your actions and decisions. I am becoming someone who is disciplined. I am becoming someone who is healthy. I am becoming someone who creates value. I am becoming someone who leads with integrity. This is identity programming. Your subconscious mind is constantly asking, who am I? And it answers that question based on the evidence you give it. Most people give their subconscious mind evidence of who they were. They define themselves by their past patterns, their past failures, their past limitations. I'm not a morning person, I'm not good at discipline, I've never been successful at this. And their subconscious mind says, okay, that's who we are, and it makes sure you stay consistent with that identity. But when you deliberately tell your subconscious mind who you are becoming, when you do this every night with conviction, you're giving it new evidence. You're updating the identity. And your subconscious mind, which controls about 95% of your behavior, begins to align your actions with this new identity. You start doing things that person would do. You start making choices that person would make. You start becoming that person without even consciously trying. The fifth thing, and this might be the most important, you must tell your mind, I release and let go of everything that happened today that's weighing on you. The frustrations, the mistakes, the conflicts, the disappointments, the worries. You acknowledge them and then you consciously let them go. You tell your mind, I release this. It's done. It's in the past. I'm not carrying it into tomorrow. Most people take their entire day into bed with them. They replay arguments. They ruminate on mistakes. They worry about things they can't control. And their subconscious mind interprets this as these things are important. Focus on them. Strengthen these neural pathways. So they dream about their problems. They wake up with their problems. They start the next day already burdened by yesterday. But when you deliberately release, when you consciously let go, you're telling your subconscious mind, we're done with this. We're not processing this anymore. We're moving forward. And this frees up your mental energy. Instead of spending the night processing negativity, your subconscious mind can focus on the positive programming you gave it, the gratitude, the accomplishments, the intentions, the identity. It can work on building you up instead of keeping you stuck. Now, here's what makes this practice so powerful and why Brian Tracy considers it one of the most transformative lessons he's ever taught. It's not any single night that matters, it's the compound effect of doing this every single night. One night of gratitude before sleep doesn't change much, but 100 nights, 300 nights, 1,000 nights, that changes everything. Because every night you're programming, every night you're sending instructions to your subconscious mind. Every night, you're reinforcing certain neural pathways and weakening others. Every night, you're slightly shifting your identity, your beliefs, your automatic responses. And these small shifts accumulated over time create massive transformation. You become a fundamentally different person, not through one dramatic moment, but through the persistent, consistent practice of programming your mind correctly before sleep. Most people vastly underestimate the power of small, consistent practices. They want the dramatic intervention, the big breakthrough, the sudden transformation, and they completely miss the fact that the most profound changes happen through tiny adjustments repeated over long periods. This is one of those adjustments. 5 minutes before sleep, every night. That's all it takes. But those 5 minutes, used correctly, consistently, will literally rewire your brain. Here's what will happen if you actually do this. The first few nights will feel awkward. You might feel silly talking to yourself, programming your mind like it's a computer. Your rational mind will question whether this actually works. You'll be tempted to skip it because it feels too simple to matter. Don't skip it. Push through the awkwardness. This is your rational mind resisting because it doesn't control your subconscious and it doesn't like that. After about a week, something will shift. You'll notice you're waking up differently, maybe with more clarity, maybe with more energy, maybe with solutions to problems you'd been struggling with. Your subconscious mind is starting to work with the new programming. After about 3 weeks, the practice will start to feel natural. You'll look forward to it. You'll notice that your days are going better. You're accomplishing more. You're feeling more grateful. You're becoming more like the person you're telling your mind you're becoming. After about 3 months, you'll look back and barely recognize who you were. Your entire mindset will have shifted. Your default patterns will be different. Your automatic responses will be different. You'll have become someone new, and it will have happened so gradually, so naturally, that you almost won't remember how it happened. But it happened in those 5 minutes every night before sleep. That's where the transformation occurred. But here's the critical part, and this is where most people fail. You have to protect this practice. You have to guard these final minutes before sleep like they're the most valuable minutes of your day, because they are. They're more valuable than any meeting, any email, any social media scroll, any TV show. These minutes determine what your subconscious mind works on for the next 8 hours. They determine who you're becoming. They determine the trajectory of your entire life. So you have to create a ritual around this. You have to make it non negotiable. Turn off all screens at least 15 minutes before you plan to sleep. No phone, no TV, no laptop. Give your mind time to settle. Then, in those final minutes before sleep, either sitting in bed or lying down with eyes closed, you go through the five things: gratitude, accomplishments, tomorrow's intentions, your emerging identity, and release. Say them out loud if you're alone. Speak them with conviction. Let your subconscious mind hear them clearly. If others are present, say them silently, but with the same conviction, the same clarity. See the images, feel the emotions, make it real in your mind. Don't just recite words, actually connect with the meaning. Actually feel grateful. Actually see yourself accomplishing tomorrow's intentions. Actually embody the identity you're becoming. And then, after you've programmed your mind, after you've given your subconscious clear instructions, let go. Don't lie awake trying to force anything. Trust that your subconscious mind will do its work while you sleep. Trust the process. Close your eyes and sleep with the confidence that you've just done something most people never do. You've taken control of your own programming. You've directed your subconscious mind instead of letting it run on autopilot. You've planted seeds that will grow while you rest. There's a reason Brian Tracy calls this his most transformative lesson. It's not because it's complicated. It's not because it requires special skills or knowledge. It's because it works with the fundamental architecture of how your mind operates. Your subconscious mind is always working. It's always processing. It's always creating your reality based on the programming it receives. Most people let that programming happen by default, by accident, based on whatever random thoughts and external inputs they absorb during the day. But you don't have to be most people. You can take control. You can deliberately program your mind. You can use those precious minutes before sleep to become the architect of your own transformation. 5 minutes a night. That's the price. 5 minutes of intentional thought instead of mindless scrolling. 5 minutes of programming, your success instead of reinforcing your limitations. 5 minutes of telling your mind who you're becoming instead of replaying who you've been. The question is, will you do it? Not just tonight, every night. Will you make this practice as non negotiable as brushing your teeth? Will you guard these minutes like your life depends on them? Because, in a very real sense, it does. The quality of your life, the person you become, the success you achieve, all of it flows from what's happening in your subconscious mind. And what's happening in your subconscious mind is determined by what you program into it. You have two choices. You can continue to let your subconscious mind be programmed by default, by whatever random inputs it receives, by whatever anxieties and negative patterns are already there. And you'll continue to get the results you've always gotten. Or you can take control. You can force yourself to tell your mind specific things before sleeping. You can deliberately program your subconscious for success, for growth, for transformation, and you'll begin to get results you've never gotten before. It's your choice. It's always been your choice. But now you know what the choice is. Now you know what those final minutes before sleep really mean. Now you know the power you have to transform yourself, one night at a time, 5 minutes at a time. The only question is, starting tonight, what will you tell your mind before you sleep?